Okay, so I'm going to show you a new way that Kara and I have found to find limits. Doing some research, we found the squeeze theorem can be helpful in certain situations, especially when using trig identities such as sine, cosine, or tangent. In this problem, we have the limit as x approaches 0 of the quantity x squared times cosine 10x. Now what you want to do is isolate wherever the cosine is. Because when you look at cosine on a graph, it's always going to be oscillating between the values of 1 and -1. So what we can say, knowing that information, is that -1 is always going to be less than or equal to cosine 10x, which will always be less than or equal to 1, because it's always going to be oscillating between its lowest value and its greatest value. But we cannot forget about this x squared that we still have up here that factors into the problem. What you want to do with that is put that x squared into every single piece. So we are going to multiply into the -1, the cosine 10x, and the 1. We will get negative x squared is less than or equal to x squared cosine 10x, which is less than or equal to x squared, all of which the limit is x as it's approaching 0. Now that we know all this and we have x in our equations and we know x is approaching 0, we can substitute 0 in to find out what our limit is. When you substitute 0 in for x here, you get 0 squared, or -0 squared, which is still going to be 0. So you have 0 is less than or equal to 0 squared times cosine 10 0, which is less than or equal to 0 squared. Now basically what the squeeze theorem allows us to do is use logic and say that the limit must equal 0 in this situation, because this in the middle, basically x squared cosine 10x, must be less than or equal to 0, but also greater than or equal to 0. And since it cannot be greater than 0 and less than 0 at the same time, it must equal 0. So the squeeze theorem allows us to say that the limit for this problem is 0.